Hi, I'm going to walk you through creating the first assignment. This is taking the template for the HTML5 file and making your edits and then uploading it to your website that the school provides. I'm sitting outside. It's a beautiful day. I've got birds tweeting, so there might be some distractions, but hey, that's one of the nice things about an online class. So here we go. You're in Blackboard, and you'll see over here on the left I have the code templates, so you go there. I've got a whole bunch of them there. The most important thing is that you don't do what a lot of people want to do, which is just double click on this to open it. You actually have to download the file. And let me turn editing off so it looks like it does for you as a student. Alright, so what you do is you right click on the template 5Basic and choose Save Link As, and then you're going to store it on your computer somewhere appropriate. Let's go into here. I'm going to go into a temp folder, but you'll put it in your class folder. So I have it in there. Then I go into that folder, which was called temp, and there it is. And I'm going to edit it with Notepad. Now, you might find it easier to start Notepad first rather than right-clicking, because a lot of times if you right-click on an HTML file, Notepad isn't one of your choices. So I'm going to come over here. If you're in Windows 8, you just start typing Notepad. It'll show up. This Notepad++ is really cool too. It allows you, it color codes for HTML, but I assume if you have a Windows machine, you have Notepad. If you're using a Mac, you have to use some other text editor, such as Text Wrangler. But I open up Notepad, I go File, Open. Now here's the important thing when you are using Notepad. By default, down here it says text documents, which are documents that end with a .txt extension. Our file is an HTML file, so we don't want to use the .txt extension. Let's go and use the drop down and choose all files. Notice now I see all kinds of files, not just ones with a txt extension. So now I navigate over to where I saved that, which was Documents Temp. And now I can find my template 5Basic, and I click on that. The other thing I want to do is here where it says encoding, I want to use this UTF-8. That is the most common coding that we use in web pages. You can use others, but I recommend you use the UTF-8, especially when it comes to validation. Now we click open, and here you can see the file with all the codes, and you might notice here too I have the character set at UTF-8, which coincides with what we set Notepad. Alright, cool. So all you're going to do then is change and put your title here, and I believe the instructions say to put your name, could be wrong. And then your content here, I ask you to type CTCH1270. That's all there is to it. Then you're going to do File, Save, or you could go Save As. Now when you do Save As, I wanted to show you this so that again you realize you're going to have to change this as type to all files. That eliminates that filtering, and also make sure that your encoding is UTF-8 anytime you're working with your web page. Now, I don't need to change the name of the file. Boy, that clunk was loud. And say yes, and now I'm ready to upload it. I show you how to upload it using FileZilla. FileZilla is a free software package that allows you to connect to the web space that you created and allows you to upload files. So then you're going to have to put your server name, which is people, oops, all lowercase, people2.ohio.edu, and your username is your Ohio ID. Your password is the same one you used to get into Blackboard, and your port is 22. I connect, and assuming I did that right, it's going to bring me to this people folder. So you scroll down here until you find your Ohio ID. All right. Now you're just going to, I have a whole bunch of stuff up here, which is unfortunate, but yours will probably be pretty empty when you get there. So don't worry about that. Now we're going to come over on this side. The left-hand side is my local stuff. These are the files that are actually on my computer. The right-hand side is the stuff that's uploaded up to my web space. So here I have to navigate until I find that folder. You see this little folder here with the two dots? That allows me to go up. And we're going to keep going up, actually. What happens if I click on Documents? Yeah, that's not good. Let's go into C. Documents. No, that's not what I want. Da, 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 da. User files. Users. Christine. Documents. Temp. Alright, I found it. And if I go in here, I should be able to find that template basic 5. Ooh, I forgot to show you how to validate it. We'll do that next. I'll go ahead and upload it. I look here and it's up at the top. It says directory listing successful. Let's see, the file transfer succeeded. You can also look down here and see I have one successful transfer. That was my file. You can also come over here and look for the file. Template5Basic. There it is. Alright, now to view the file, I'm going to go into my browser. I'm going to come onto this folder and go www.ohio.edu/people. Oops. //c/template5basic.html. You're seeing my, whoops, helps, HTML. Helps to type it correctly. And there it has my name at the top and the CTCH1270. Now I told you I skipped this part. I skipped the validation part. So what we're going to do is open up the file again. I'm going to highlight and copy all of this. Did you know that Control A will select everything and then Control C will copy it? I'm going to go back into Blackboard. And if you look down here on the left-hand side in our class, you'll see HTML Validator. It opens up to the Validate by Direct Input. You also can put in a URL. You can also upload a file and validate it if you want, or you can validate by direct input. I'm going to come here and hit Control V to paste everything in there. And I'm going to check. Click check. And hooray! It says this document was successfully checked as HTML5. Now these two warnings that you get are not a big deal. You're going to get two warnings every time you do it by direct input. One is it's going to tell you, hey, this is still experimental because this is the HTML5 one. If you use the 4.1, I have those templates out there. They have very different headings. That one is not experimental and you can possibly not get any warnings. The second warning that you're going to have is that it's assuming you used UTF-8. The reason you get that message, even though yes we did use UTF-8 and yes we did specify it in here, you get that warning because whenever you paste it into the direct input validation tab, it automatically converts it to UTF-8. Now that warning is a little more serious in that it's possible that if you had codes that weren't UTF-8, that they would be uploaded to the website and be erroneous. But you can assume for now that those two warnings are okay. Now if you really got an error message, that would be a big deal. Let's say, for example, I take out this T. That's a very bad thing to do on an HTML code. If I do that and revalidate, now you'll see what an error looks like. Scary. Notice I only made one error, but it tells me there's two problems. That's not uncommon because whenever you have checks, what happens is the system reports where it notices there's a problem. And sometimes one little error can cause 30 noticeable problems. But let's go down and see what the errors messages are. You notice I scrolled down past the warnings to the actual errors. It said that on line 14, it got to the end of the file before it expected to. Well, that's really caused by this problem here that I didn't close the element title. So if I look down here and it's telling me there's a problem with this line, once you know HTML a little better, you'll recognize, oh, that closing tag has to have a T in it. So if you get an error here, you make your corrections, go down and hit this revalidate button. We like that. Now, one thing I recommend that you do, you've made some changes here. You have to make sure that those changes make it back into the file that you're going to upload. So I put my cursor here and select everything. I like to use Control A. If you're on a Mac, it would be Command A. And then Control C to copy it. Then I come back into my Notepad. I do Control A again to select everything, then Control V to paste it in. Make sure you do the file save. Then come back in. And we already did this a little out of order, but we're going to do it again. I'm going to find my file. I like to use last modified as the sort order, then it's usually at the top. I'm over here and I double click. I look up here, and now this time it says, hey, you've already got that file there. You sure you want to overwrite? I say, yep, I do. Now here's the other cool thing. I can come in here, go to the page that I had uploaded before, and click the refresh or reload, which is this little round arrow. That will go back up to the web server and re-pull the code down. If I don't hit refresh, it's still showing me the old version. And it even could be a version in cache, which we'll learn what cache is next week when we talk about browsers and how browsers work. So that's all there is to your first homework, that and activating your website. So I hope you enjoyed that walkthrough and that it was helpful to you. Take care. Bye-bye.